it's good pleasure to be here. My name is Paul Drake. I'm a commissioner in Somerset County. I'm here today with Mike Frost, who is the Director of Human Services. And today we're going to have a good discussion about all the good work that Mike does here for Somerset County. I really, as the liaison for Human Services, I've had a great opportunity to talk more about it, but I know Mike's going to really tell us all the good work he does.
And I am Mike Frost. I am the Director of Human Services for Somerset County, and I've been in that position since 2014.
That's great, Mike. Can you tell us, in terms of, I know you do supervise a number of folks throughout, and there's a lot of exciting work that you do. Can you tell us the various divisions that you work with and then some of the folks that you're working to help out in Somerset County?
Sure. So Human Services in Somerset County is comprised of 10 different divisions. The setup in human service departments is different from county to county. This happens to be a county that does a lot of direct service. Our largest division is the Richard Hall Community Mental Health Center, which will be changing its name to Health and Wellness Center over this next year. The Office on Aging and Disability Services, our youth services, juvenile institutional services, the One-Stop Career Center, veteran services, volunteer services, community development, which handles our CDBG and these days CARES Act money, which is pretty significant. Rutgers Cooperative Extension, which is actually Rutgers 4-H, and that in this county is a part of Human Services. And let's see if I'm leaving anyone out. Operations and Planning, which is the planning and contracting division, which reports directly to me. It's kind of the director's administrative staff.
I know you're working hard with a lot of different divisions throughout Somerset County. Can you tell us about a few of them? I'm really interested in hearing about veteran services.
Yes, our Veteran Services is a small but quite active division that is involved in all things veterans, but particularly with a focus on helping veterans and their families adjudicate claims. Millions of dollars of benefits to veterans. In addition, you know, the thing that has been common for all of the populations that we serve is this sense of disenfranchisement, of isolation, difficulty in having a sense of community. So we've worked really hard in each of these divisions to create a virtual sense of community where people can indeed connect, be in Zoom rooms together, be able to receive all of the services and benefits that they would in normal times, but in a different way.
So I'm interested in disability services. For example, my father was in a wheelchair for several years before he died, and ultimately the county provided a significant amount of services for him. Can you tell us about the services offered by the Disability Office?
Yes, around the time that I became Human Services Director, we actually folded our little disability coordinator division into the Office of Aging and Disabilities. That has really allowed us to do much more in cooperation with the State Disability Council, the ACODI, which is our local disability council, which is comprised of family members, consumers, advocates. We're involved in legislative work. Okay. And I will tell you that one of the nice pieces of synergy is between our Office of Aging and Disability and our Volunteer Services Program. Our Volunteer Services Program literally involves volunteers from the community who work on projects for folks who are homebound or in need of assistance, and one of the biggest projects is ramp building, which goes on throughout the year, and that has been continued during the pandemic. We've been able to do that. So that's been tremendously helpful.
Now tell us about the Grab and Go program. I understand there's an adaptation of food programs that the county offers.
Yes, we have 6 wellness centers, 6 senior wellness centers throughout the county. Each of those centers normally provides lunches to seniors who gather there for a variety of social activities. Since they're not able to do that, those social activities have gone online, classes, etc. The lunches have been converted into what's called grab and go. So the staff actually work at the centers, they prepare the meals, they pack them, and folks are able to literally come grab and go without any exposure to other folks in a safe environment. And that's worked very well.
And I know young adults have been struggling themselves with trying to understand the pandemic and obviously with things at school, everything else. But tell us about youth services in the county.
Well, our youth services division is pretty extensive, and they really have a couple of distinct pieces. One is the Family Crisis Intervention Unit, which is a small counseling unit for kids who are at risk of out-of-home placement or have had difficulty in school, truancy, family conflict, and that's differentiated from longer-term emotional or mental health issues, which might be taken care of at Richard Hall, for example. So this is time-limited counseling, crisis-based. That has been done virtually through this period as well. So those sessions have been done online. And finally, they have continued to offer community workshops during this whole period of time as well. I realize something I did not mention earlier is the Human Services Academy, which is run out of my office, Operations and Planning, and that is a monthly webinar. These used to be live in a room. Now they've moved to webinar. On a variety of topics, we offer credit for social workers for continued professional training for that. And I will tell you that, we were limited before, obviously, by the size of a room, so that we might have 30 or 35 people attend. These academy workshops have now been 75, 80 folks. It's become very popular, and that is something also we will probably sustain in some online way as well.
Can you tell us a little more about the Richard Hall Mental Health Clinic?
I will, thank you. We provide many, many programs there in different areas. So both substance abuse, mental health, domestic violence, specialized programs for traumatized children, all of these things take place at Richard Hall. In addition, there is a large medication clinic for folks who are in need of psychotropic or psychiatric medication of some kind. So it is a multidisciplinary staff of around 100. There is also an extensive clinical internship program, and that's been particularly helpful because out of that program, we end up being able to pick up some very good staff in the end.
Throughout the pandemic, have you seen an increase in stress and anxiety among folks in Somerset County?
We have. Interestingly, we've just begun to look at statistics around some of the mental health and substance abuse markers, for example. Substance abuse and overdose, for example, has gone up significantly nationally, in the state, and here in Somerset County as well. Surprisingly, suicide rates have not gone up, and that's kind of counterintuitive, and we're not sure why that is at this point, but we'll take it.
Right.
Where we've really seen a lot of stress, as you might imagine, is on parents and kids. The stress of folks having to have their kids at home for school, and for kids not to know really what tomorrow is going to bring, and all of the stress that is involved in just keeping yourself safe, that we've seen some real reactions to. And at some of our counseling sites, including our Family Crisis Intervention Unit, which is part of the Office of Youth Services, we have seen folks use their counseling sessions to talk more about the stress and what that feels like for them.
Okay, so Somerset County does offer telehealth and as well as mental health screening and work for residents within Somerset County?
Absolutely, we do. And as I said, that's something that we hope to be able to continue even after we are able to do most of our appointments live. We will hopefully still be able to offer telehealth pieces, which work particularly well in support groups, for example. These are folks who are registered as clients, and instead of coming to the site for their counseling session, they actually have a link, which they hit, and their counselor is on the screen with them for the entire appointment. And that's how the appointment takes place instead of in person. So all of that has been seen as an addition rather than a detraction.
That's very exciting. It's good information now. So will the divisions operate differently post-pandemic as we move forward? I think you sort of answered some of that, but tell us a little more how you see the transition from, when we get through the pandemic how your operations will work with our clients.
Well, I think the pandemic has served to underscore a lot of things we already knew, but with crystal clarity. For example, and this may seem a circuitous answer to your question, but things like transportation and how important that is, and what people are able to do in the absence of really quality public transportation that gets them everywhere they need to go. And that's a struggle throughout the state of New Jersey. That's something we've learned. We've learned that the hours of operation for people need to be more flexible. We've learned and underscored that moving some of our services directly into the community, into community hubs, which we are beginning to explore and discuss with municipalities now, that's going to be something that we hope is a real adaptation of the way we operate. But most significantly is that now for all of our divisions, the option of having meetings, appointments, services, even services that require information sharing, that these will continue to be offered virtually as well as in person, giving people a much broader range of choices. The public seems to really appreciate that. And once we were able to make the switch, I think our staff have learned how to roll with it.
I want to commend you for all your great work you do, Mike.
Thank you, Commissioner.
It's certainly been a pleasure to learn more about what Human Services does do throughout the county. I've certainly learned a great deal being a commissioner and now the liaison to Human Services, but I want to say that all the important work you do, we all benefit from Somerset County, all the residents, and certainly if people need assistance, they can reach out through our website, right? And
Absolutely.
find access easily to help their needs and really get the help they need, or at least talk to somebody.
Absolutely. We have a pretty good web presence at this point. Obviously, each division has its own bank of phones as well, but we're not too hard to reach these days. Okay. And I will say that, folks have asked me from time to time, why have I stayed working in this county for as long as I have, which is a pretty shamefully long time, I will tell you. Part of it is this county really knows how to do human services right. And that is not a credit to me. That is a credit to the expertise of the division heads in this county, the staff who work for the Department of Human Services. We really go out of our way to hire quality folks, and it's made quite a difference. So it gives me great pleasure to be the head of Human Services in this county.
Well, it's great to have you, Mike, and certainly I know we all value all your leadership, and I want to thank you for all your good work.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate that.